He demanded I quit my job to take care of his mother, but I wasn't ready for what happened next. Hey friends, before I share this emotional journey, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Your support helps me tell more real stories that might just open someone's eyes about love, marriage, and life. So, the other night my husband Jackson looked at me and said with a straight face, "You already had the divorce papers prepared?" How about that? I scared you, didn't I? Because I'm ready for this at any time. I froze. He stood up, slammed the door, and disappeared into his room. My name is Camila. I'm an office worker in my early 30s, and I've been married for just a year. I met Jackson on a blind date. He was charming, confident, and the type of man who made quick moves. After dating for a year and a half, he proposed. Honestly, I thought it was too soon, but I had this vague dream of being married and having kids before I got older. So I said yes. But marriage wasn't what I expected. The first red flag came right after the wedding. Out of nowhere, Jackson announced, "I'm changing jobs." No discussion, no planning. He had already resigned. His new job paid less, but I told myself it would be okay since I was working too. That's when the real problems began. Jackson kept pressuring me to quit my job. If his salary had been enough for both of us, maybe I would have considered it. But it wasn't. Rent, car bills, daily expenses, it all piled up. We could barely manage as it was. I told him again and again, "I won't quit until your salary goes up." But he never stopped asking. At first, I thought he just wanted a traditional household. But then I realized the real reason. He wanted me to quit so I could take care of his mother, Helen. Now, don't get me wrong. Helen is not sick. She's healthy, active, working part-time, and happily enjoying her hobbies and friends. She doesn't need care. But every time we visited, Jackson would say things like, "I just want to make things easier for you, Mom." And Helen would smile and thank him. Then he'd glance at me, as if I was failing as a wife for not devoting my life to his mother. I felt cornered. It wasn't fair. Why should I give up my independence, my career, and my future just to play a role no one actually asked me for? And yet, Jackson wouldn't let it go. Every time we fought about it, the word divorce started creeping into our conversations. That's when I realized, maybe the real problem isn't my job or even Helen. Maybe the problem is Jackson. Is still in perfect health, and what in the world do you even want Met to do? Jackson says matter-of-factly, there are plenty of things that you can do, you could do, the housework for her or errands, and there are plenty of things to do to help her, but with Helen's part-time job and socializing with her friends, it means that she won't be home a lot during the day, right? Even if Mom wasn't home, you could still do the housework, couldn't? You Jackson's words made me question. What the hell is she saying? Then I would just be a housekeeper for her. Jackson just wants to look good in whatever he does, and especially look good in front of his parents. If he wants to take care of his parents that badly, he should go to the housework himself. I didn't have any time for Jackson's petty pride. So of course I didn't quit my job, and I didn't bother to visit my parents-in-law on my days off, but I did go to my parents-in-law's house to visit them during holidays, like New Year's holidays, come to think of it. Jackson often gave me orders when we visited my parents-in-law's house together. He would tell me to clean up, help Moms, see if there is anything that's needed from the store and soon, but I would never do anything on my own. When I would say about going to the store, don't, more about this area than I do, he says, there would be no point. If I do it, I don't understand your point anyways. So it seems like he just wants to make his own obi him and feel good about how he's taking care of his parents. That's how it started to Jackson gradually. Is it because he just wants to look good rather than actually caring about me? When I boldly asked him, why don't you try to help or quit your job to take care of your own mother? He looked extremely uncomfortable and had a disgusted look on his face. That's not something I'm supposed to do. I'm giving you these instructions so that my mom will think that you're a considerate, useful wife. I hope you realize how kind I am to you. So in other words, she wants to push all the troublesome stuff onto her own wife and show off how good as if he did something amazing well. I am not your servant, slave, or anything else, nor do I deserve to be abused or belittled in front of my parents-in-law. If Jackson keeps on making unreasonable demands to me, I will definitely no. T be silent but go against them, but Jackson kept on being the same and never changed his stance. He would ask, "Hey, are you going to quit your job?" And whenever we visited my parents-in-law's house, ordered Met to do all kinds of things, just as she had done before I had reached the end of my patiences. So I decided to talk it over with my husband. What do you men talk? It thought we should talk about our future. What are you venturing to say? I'm honestly fed up. I'm fed up about how you keep asking me when I'm going to quit my job. I'm trying to get me to take care of Helen. Helen, why are you fed up with T? Hate, you're my wife and you're supposed to take care of the husband's parents. Don't you think that it's a big burden for him? Isn't it your responsibility as the biological child to help with the housework and take care of your own parents in the first place? Now it's the wife's duty to do so. Are you that kind of person who doesn't care about your family? I'm really disappointed that you would say such a thing. Then let me ask you this. How have you been taking care of my parents? If I asked you to take care of my own parents, would you do it? Then Jackson looks at me blankly. What are you saying? What should a husband take care of his wife's parents? Does that mean you aren't and won't take care of my parents? The husband's parents and wife's parents are totally different. In the first place, what difference does it make? I can't understand. I didn't know that you were this clueless. It's like I'm talking to my old boss or something. What are you trying to say? I'm saying that the first priority should be the husband's parents. The wife's parents should be taken care of by you, the wife. What their so last means, that for him, the only family he prioritizes is his own blood-rated family. I'm so disgusted by you. I'm not going to your parents' house anymore. Why would you do that? Enough is enough. I'm the one who wants you to cut the crap. Now, how dare you talk back like my mom's right? Her mom was saying things about you. She said that you're a badly behaved wife. That's why she gave him this with that my husband. Jackson took out a piece of paper from his bag. It was divorce papers. What, you already had the divorce papers ready? I was simply surprised, but for some reason my husband looked proud of himself. How's that? As scared you didn't I? Because I'm ready for this at any times. Well, you better cool down and reflect about what you just said. With that, my husband Jackson got up and went to his room. Now, why is Jackson so selfish? And that triumphant look on his face. I'm sure that the divorce papers are used as a threat and an attempt to get me to being. And do as she says, the fact that Helen had prepared the divorce papers made me think so even more. Jackson is a mama's boy, considering what he has been doing, so he wants to do as Helen says. And at the same time, boss me. Roundy, you've got to be kidding me. I won't let Jackson do whatever he wants. I mean, why can't they realize that our marriage life is over when he does this kind of thing already? His lack of common sense also makes me irritated even more. Jackson had already filled out the divorce papers and handed them to him. The witness column was filled with the names of Helen and his friends. So this means that I could sign and file the divorce papers anytime I wanted to the next day after last left for work. It filled out the divorce papers and submitted them to the city of Fuss. Just in case I also filled a notice of non-acceptance of the marriage certificate. I called my parents and explained the situation to them. Because I was sure that Jackson, who had given Met the divorce papers, says a threat would say that he would file the marriage certificate on his own. If he heard that I had filed the divorce papers, my parents were surprised that I had already filled the divorce papers, but were outraged about Jackson's attitude and behavior. They then offered to help me move my stuff anytime. It took a paid leave and had my parents come over and move all my stuff out to my pair. And house while Jackson was gone. Then I decided to stay at my parents' house for a while for the first time in a long time. I felt comfortable spending time at my parents' house. Thinking back, last didn't do any housework at all. I was the one cooking dinner after a busy day of work and did all the cleaning and laundry on my days off. On top of that, he wanted me to take care of my in-laws, which was impossible that night. I received a phone call from Jackson, who must have just come back home from work. Hello, hey, where are you right now? I'm at my parents' house. Why the hell would you go, bae? Chi to your parents' house without my permission, and there's none of your stuff. Here, don't tell me that you're staying the night over there. I almost gave out a laugh. How could he think that I was staying over when I had taken most of my personal belongings with me? He really must be a selfish person to even think that way. I moved out of the house. I'm not going back to your house. What the hell are you talking about? Come back here and make me some food. Please prepare it on your own. I said that and hung up the phone. I can't even talk to him about how I filed for the divorce if he's go, Nenji Toba like this, so I'll just wait for him to come here. I thought to myself and blocked his number from my phone a week later. Jackson finally got impatient and came over to my parents' house, but he didn't come alone. He had brought his parents with him. All three of them had a grim look. I led the in-laws into the living room, and we faced each other as 3 versus 3. How could you be like this? I can't believe you would be gone for such a long period of time without any of my permission. Well, that's because you tried to use me as if I was your housekeeper. Right all I asked you to. Always to take care of my family, my in-laws looked grimace. Sever Helen was glaring at me. Don't you dare say things like that. You always say in a way that's always convenient for you. You just force me to take care of things that you don't want to do. Don't you? I've told you many, many times that that's not what I mean. What kind of wife are you when Jackson is doing so much for you? Seeing Helen saying bad things about me father was trembling. My father would lose his temper if I didn't say something before he could lose his temper. Once again said what Jackson had said to me. Jackson. I told me to stop working and told me to help Helen and that it was my duty as his wife to do so, but for my family had pushed me to take care of them on me own in the end. Jackson just wants me to obey him and use me to take care of his own parents and take credit for it. That's why he has been saying things like how his parents are more important or that they are a priority than my parents. But has Jackson ever said such things like that in front of you? Helen was still glaring at me, but my father-in-law, Carter, was looking at last with a clueless look. Apparently had not thought this story. Let's just go ahead and spill the tea. And what I couldn't really believe was that Jackson had suddenly brought up the divorce papers and told me that it was Helen's idea what he did. You suggest that to Jackson? Carter questioned Helen. No. That's because Camila has an attitude loved. Did you also say something like how Camila's parents are not the priority? Oh, well, that's because it's only normal for your own parents to be more important. Don't be ridiculous. I came to support you because I heard that you were put through reasonable hardships. But as far as I'm concerned, you're the one at fault. Don't be a coward and try to use your parents' power to get what you want. Jackson completely shrinks down. Carter did an amazing job. He said everything that I wanted to say to Jackson, and Carter apologized to us. To Camila and to Camila's parents, I am truly sorry for the trouble my stupid son has caused you. I will strictly lecture them. So Carter, you're not at fault at all. So please look up and thank you for your kind words. But I still have one thing left to say when I said that Jackst, what do you meant to met the divorce papers that you gave me? I've already filed them. We're not a married couple anymore. What nano? Jackson and Helen both turned pale. Hey, why did you do that without any permission? You told me that you could file them anytime you wanted to, and besides you already fill dire part of the form and even had Helen sign in the witness box for you. Oh, that was did you abolish for what? No, Jackson, that Carter is fuming with anger. You said that you used it to threaten me. I said these final words on behalf of Jackson. Well, how can you be that way? You're so stupid. Carter hits Jackson right on his cheek. Helen is shaken up at what was going on. I sincerely apologize that you had to see that you're right for divorcing this idiot. I'm truly sorry on behalf of Jackson for destroying your marital history. Saying that, Carter grabbed Jackson by the neck and said, you both better apologize too, and made Jackson and Helen apologize as well. Then he left the house with them. I have to thank Carter later on. It definitely saved my parents from losing their temper. And Carter made sure that all of Jackson's property went to me in exchange for no alimony since Jackson could not go against Carter. I was entitled to all of our savings and other assets from our marriage. Well, I had a higher income than him, though, and I was the one who was running the households, so I had the right to have them. Still, I can only thank Carter for make insureth that the entire amount which would have been split unfairly went all to me. And I heard that Carter was so disgusted with Helena at what had happened, so he divorced her. And the other day, I happened to meet a Coxon's old workplace. He told me that Jackson was not good at this job at all and that he was scolded severely by his boss every single time, so Asif to go against this own boss. Jackson had submitted our resignation letter and changed jobs. I had never heard that story before. So I was really fed up with Jackson's. So Jackson had just blamed everyone around, named him for his own lack of ability. That's why he didn't get paid at all at this new jobs. Oh, I'm glad I left him. It then rented a single-room apartment and lived comfortably by myself. Work is going well too, and I just got a raise the other day since I don't want to be in a relationship for a while. I would like to continue to devote myself to my job. I knew that he was the type of man who couldn't do his job at all once. I found out that he was a man who cared a lot about how it looked. He could only maintain his dignity at home. And now where else I would think that rather than devoting all his energy to how it looks, she should use it to improve his ability for his works. Still, there are so many scumbag husbands who think that divorce papers can be used as a threat. They think that they are all that. That's a huge mistake. I wish that these people would get immediately divorced and move on to a life of loneliness. At any rate, I'm glad that Camila was able to break off their relationship. I hope that Camila would meet someone wonderful in the future.